he didn't get a lot of food and he wasn't really in a great situation. Do I want to take him? And at that point I was 18, I was living in a caravan, and he was, now listen, he was terrible. That's what he looked like when he was younger. I didn't know so much about rescuing animals, and then he sort of stepped into my life accidentally. This moral support from my dog for the last 15 years. All of this behind us would not be here if it wasn't for him. So this week's highlight is a really, really important one, and it's going to be really, really a special video, not just for me, but also for the history of this place. We do lots of videos about meet the animals, meet the horses, but this one is all about meet Iggy. And you may have, if you followed our story a little bit, you'll know a little bit about him, and that he's my main man. He's with me everywhere. But there's a lot more to it than that, and his story goes back a long, long way, all the way back when I was 18. And I want to tell you a bit about our past, and a bit about how we came to where we are today, because if it wasn't for this beautiful little fluff ball here, this place wouldn't exist and we wouldn't be there. So, this is my old man, Iggy. He is 15 now, and I got him when I was 18, and there you go, there's the maths of how old I am. And when I was younger, I had a dog walking business. That was my first little job as I was trying to develop my life, and I was helping out I lived on a tiny little island in the UK, and I was going around for different people while they're at work and things, walking their dogs, quite a normal job. And then someone that I knew of, it was a small island where we came from, had his parents, and he was living in a house, and he had just him left over, and it was just living in the top apartment of a house, and he wasn't really going outside. The guy was having to work a lot, and it wasn't really the ideal situation to have him and his mum and his dad. And the parents were actually not really nice to Iggy, and so he didn't get a lot of food and he wasn't really in a great situation. So they sort of said, do I want to take him? And at that point I was 18, I was living in a caravan. I didn't have a proper career or what to do, and I was like, I don't really know if I want a dog, but I got a dog. And I didn't really know that much what I was doing. Animals have been my passion forever, but I hadn't really planned or knew exactly what to do about having a dog. So I made a lot of mistakes at the beginning, and he was terrible. He chewed everything in my caravan. He pooed everywhere, he peed everywhere, he barked at everyone, he escaped, he just did everything a dog could do wrong. And I remember about a month later crying to my mum, like, Mum, what have I done? Can you give me a break? So I was like, can you look after your grandchild for a couple of days? I need a break. And then he pooed all over our house. But fast forward, I went to puppy classes, I did a lot more training for myself, I learned a bit more, and created the path for my life. And I always thought I was gonna have a petting farm. My second name is Greenfield, and I always thought we were gonna have Greenfield's farm. Came here, it's not very green, so we didn't call it Greenfields. But so I didn't know so much about rescuing animals, and then he sort of stepped into my life accidentally and rescuing animals, and then it started from there. And then I just felt overwhelming passion of giving a second chance to an animal that really needed it. So then I started rescuing chickens and rabbits and guinea pigs in my little caravan in my little garden with my ex-boyfriend, and that sort of developed the start of my life. And so yeah, that's where the initial start of rescuing came from, and he developed that passion with me that never left, and it grew from there. And he's been with me all of this time. We moved houses, we moved places, we moved land. I lived on a boat for many years with him, and he came out and stayed with me. We moved partners through breakups and difficult points in my teenage years and young 20s. And he was there through everything with me, my right hand man, helping me whenever I was depressed and sad and needed help. And then he moved to Fuerteventura with me. Then he started this place with me, and we absolutely would not be here without him. And now, as you can see, well, don't be fooled, not always. He's getting on a bit. He's pretty old now, but he's not always this chilled and relaxed. If I take him to the sea, he's absolutely still the puppy that he always was. He's still crazy, and he's still the first one to bark when everyone comes by, and he's absolutely, like everyone knows him, and sometimes you can see that puppy come out in him, but actually last year, I think it was a year and a half ago maybe now, he snapped both of his cruciate ligaments on his back legs, and it was a bit touch and go. We didn't know how he was going to survive after that, and he had struggled with rehab from there, but now you wouldn't know. He's back jumping on the bed, running around, jumping in and out rock pools, and he made an amazing recovery. Iggy, they're pictures of you. Do you remember? It's like he's looking at his old memory pictures. This was the day that you drove a forklift. Do you remember? Yeah. This is Iggy driving a forklift.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I've got so many more pictures. Ah, there we go. Iggy loved the time when we lived on a boat. And look how much longer hair he had here. I don't know which time frame this folder is. It's right, so this was many years ago when he lived. Oh, this was 2010, it says there. 2010, 12 years ago, when he was sleeping on the bed with us. And oh, here we go. Here's some pages about you, Iggs. There we go. So, some good ones. Being patriotic. It looked very luxury, that we had a luxury lifestyle, but we actually used to buy and sell boats and live on them, and this is where we lived. Look at Iggy. And it was only luxury for about a week of the year. The rest of the time was freezing. Like this, that's how freezing it was the rest of the time. Iggy falling in a big bit of snow. Life is a bit different now, Iggs. He's been everywhere with me. When we went to London for some reason, and he was on the train with me. That's what he looked like when he was younger.
Aww.
So different, right? Long hair. So I used to, over the years I've done so many different jobs. I always worked for myself, and he always came with me. Like, for example, I used to own a face painting company, and we used to do kids' parties. He always used to come dressed up. I'll try and find another picture of him dressed up in it. But also when the charity shop that I said we opened, this was the open day with my old horse who opened it. He ran through the ribbon. He wasn't supposed to, but he ran through the ribbon. But there's Iggy in the background. Iggy was always there. And when I did, this was a music video I was in, and Iggy as well was in all of it. I mean, it's not the main point of these pictures, but he was always there with me through every job I did and every bit of my life. He's been there on my crazy journeys of choosing what I was going to do, and then when we decided to start this, he was there supporting me otherwise. The moral support from my dog for the last 15 years. So yeah, we can actually talk forever about him because there's so much to say. He's a dog with so much personality. He's always had such a character. He's so funny, and we always said he's got little man syndrome. Can I say that? He thinks so. He's so demanding, but in a really sort of delicate way. I don't know how to describe it, but he somehow just gets what he wants from everyone. However, he deserves it because, like I say, we wouldn't be here without him. But his amazing personality hasn't changed over the years. Although he's got old, he still loves all the things that he always did, like the sea. As I grew up on a small village and a small island, he was always playing in the sea and chasing in rock pools, chasing for fish and things like this. He also chases for lizards. He's never caught a fish or a lizard, but he thinks he can. And yeah, he really is the life and soul of my life. Is that? No, the light of my life. And yeah, everyone really has to thank him because all of this behind us would not be here if it wasn't for him. So thank you so much for watching this video all about the wonderful Iggy. And he says thank you so much for following our sanctuary and our channel. And his legacy is going to live on with us forever. I mean, he's going to live forever. aren't you, mate? We're gonna figure that one out because we need you to. But he'll be here for a long time still. And if not, one day, no one's ever gonna forget you because this place is all because of him. And now I think we're gonna go blow away in the wind. Thank you for watching. Comment below, subscribe, like, and all of that.